Good morning, Santa Clarita. Welcome in. Good morning indeed. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful Friday it is out there. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson, and our show, Eye on the Valley, is brought to you by SCVi and iLead Charter Schools. We are a network of charter schools with campuses in Castaic, Agua Dulce, Lancaster. We've got a fully accredited TK through 12 online school. We've got a home study program that's wildly popular. You know what? For more information on any of our schools, we've got 6 to choose from. Visit us at iLeadSchools.org, regardless of what your child's needs are, what your family's needs are. We've got a school to meet your needs. Again, head on over to iLeadSchools.org. Check us out while you're listening to the show this morning. So yeah, charter schools. Remember, charter schools are free schools. We are free public schools. And again, you can see everything about all of our schools at iLeadSchools.org. So we keep our eye on education here in Santa Clarita and across the nation. But like the show says, we like to keep our eye on the valley as well, bringing you everything that you need to know about what's what here in the valley. And we always take a little time to goof off and giggle because, my mantra, if you can't laugh while you're doing it, you probably shouldn't be doing it. And, there's plenty of things that I shouldn't be laughing at, so I just avoid those things. So, it's another beautiful day here in the valley, and we are keeping our eye on the valley. We've got some amazing stuff for you. There's some incredible things going on out there as spring is starting to bloom. Living in Southern California, we do pay that premium for weather like this, and it is worth it. Although, if you look at the national weather this weekend, it's looking pretty good everywhere across the country. Man, it is a great time to be alive. At least this weekend it is. Sorry, Gene Hackman. So get out there and enjoy it while you can. We may talk about old Gene a little bit later on today. You know what? It looks like we might get a few sprinkles late this weekend, maybe late Sunday, early Monday. But we need the rain, so I don't want to hear it out of you. You understand? Anyways, we've got another great show for you. In just a moment, you'll meet Desiree Lopez. Desiree is a kindergarten teacher at SCVi, and it is kindergarten Roundup time. Yeehaw! And we'll talk to Desiree in just a moment. And in hour number 2 today, we'll be talking with the leadership from Leap Children's Museum. Do you remember Leap? We first met them last spring when they opened up a pop-up children's museum at the Valencia Town Center. Well, that was in the summertime that they opened that up, but we met them back in the spring. And KHTS and iLead Schools both formed a close partnership with the museum. And, well, they're still on a mission to open a permanent children's museum right here in Santa Clarita. And they're having a really fun event that they're hosting coming up soon. And they want to invite you. And, but interestingly, even though it's Leap Children's Museum, they want to invite you, but not your kids. That's right. They've got a fun event for adults coming up. So really exciting. And so we'll talk to them again in hour number 2. And with any luck, we will run out of time before we get to Big T's 5 minutes of fame. But, we don't very often get that lucky. That guy seems to manage to fight his way onto the show every week just before we sign off. But it's kind of like that horrific traffic accident on the freeway. It's horrible, and you hate to see it, but you can't look away, and you'll be talking about it for the rest of the day. That's the segment that my big brother does at the end of the show. So God help us. So if we can't prevent that, then we may as well get started because we have already started the clock and we are slowly barreling toward Big T. So let's go ahead and enjoy this show. A while back I read in the USA Today, there was a front page article in the USA Today that said 50 years ago, as a parent, the single most important decision that you could make for your child is which pediatrician to use. That was 50 years ago. Today, pediatricians, still very important, find a good pediatrician. Today, pediatricians, however, have been surpassed by far, not even close. Today, the single most important decision a parent can make for their child is which school to enroll them in. And, well, the reason for that shift, school choice. 50 years ago, you sent them to the corner school unless you could afford private school, and that was it. You kind of didn't have a decision. So, but today we're living in the era of school choice, and the most important decision, according to psychologists and sociologists, they say the most important decision you can make is deciding what school to enroll them in. That's why it's so important to choose wisely. Make an informed decision. And here to help you with that decision today is Desiree Lopez. Desiree is a kindergarten facilitator. That's what we call our credentialed teachers at SCVi. She's a kindergarten facilitator at SCVi Charter School here on the west side of Santa Clarita, with her experience ranging from the Boys and Girls Club to a preschool lead teacher and child care center director. Desiree brings her expertise to the kindergarten team at SCVi Public Charter School. She studied early childhood development and administration at the University of Arizona Global Campus and adolescent development at California State University Northridge, and she's got her master's in elementary, middle, and secondary education from Pacific Oaks College. Desiree Lopez, welcome to Eye on the Valley.
Hi, Matt. How are you? Thank you for having me.
We're doing great, and we're so glad to have you. So let's start here. I always like to start learning a little bit about our guests when we have them on. So Desiree, just read a little bit about your professional background. How long have you been with us at SCVi?
So currently this is my third year here with SCVi. I've been teaching for longer than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been with SCVi for 3 years, and I love it. I've been teaching kindergarten here with our team for 3 years, although sometimes our team changes, obviously. But yeah, we just love it. It's been fun.
Fantastic. So I mentioned you've done quite a bit of work in kind of the early childhood arena at childhood development centers and preschools and things like that. How did you find us at iLead and SCVi?
So through networking, through the preschools, I was an assistant director for a preschool for a long time, and then just became a director and decided to go back to the classroom. And one of the directors that I worked with at the preschool one-on-one said that her husband needed teachers for his school, and turned out to be Chad Powell. And I met Martha, and that just trickled down to me just coming and loving our school.
Fantastic. And for those of you that don't know, Chad and Martha are the directors at SCVi Charter School. Why two directors? Well, it's because running a TK through 12th grade school is quite an ordeal. That's right. SCVi is a transitional kindergarten through 12th grade school. Imagine that, enrolling your kid in a free public charter school that gives you that boutique, small family feel of a private school, and being able to leave them enrolled all the way through high school graduation. We've actually got some kids that are going to be graduating soon that have been there all 13 years of their educational career. But let's get back to Desiree. And Desiree, I want to jump right into a really fun event that you've got coming up, a very, very important event for little kids, for parents, their families, as well as for your school. I'm talking about the TK, the Transitional Kindergarten and Kindergarten Roundup that's coming up. Families with 4 and 5-year-olds are coming in. So for those families, tell us what Roundup is. What is the TK and Kinder Roundup?
So our Kindergarten Roundup, which is going to be held on March 13th, it's in the evening around 5 to 6. What we do is we just present ourselves. We let you guys know what we're going to be doing for the year. We talk about what project-based learning is, how we individualize learning for each of our learners, and get to know you as parents and just kind of get some of those jitters. This is the first year for a lot of families that are going into kindergarten. Some of their kids have been in preschool for a long time, so they've known their preschool teachers since they were little. And so going into kindergarten, it's a little bit nerve-wracking. So we get to present ourselves, get to know the parents, kind of get rid of that, like, I'm so nervous about my little one going to school for the first time, especially when they say public school. It just sounds so big. Elementary school sounds so big for the littles. And we're just here opening up our space to have them ask those questions and feel a sense of just calm for when they're ready to come to school, they're just ready for it. The parents feel reassured that we're here to support their families, support the learners, and be a safe space for their kids.
Yeah, it can be kind of an intimidating time, especially if that little one is your first. It can be scary thinking
Yes.
about dropping them off at school. I remember the first time I dropped my daughter off at kindergarten, and gosh, my kids are old now. It's weird how that happens, how my kids get old, but I don't. But yeah, it can be an intimidating time. So that's awesome that you guys have this event to help families kind of get to understand what it is that y'all do. So again, that is March 13th. I believe the event starts at 5:30. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, so March 13th, 5:30, kindergarten and transitional kindergarten roundup at SCVi Charter School, again on the west side of town. Now, let me ask you about the difference, because one, I can never get it right, and probably because two, it's changing every year. So what's the age difference between transitional kindergarten and kindergarten? Because I know a lot of families, some want to push. No, I want to get my kid in kinder, and others are saying, no, can he stay in transitional? Just based on preference. So what are the date cutoffs? What's the enrollment difference between TK and kindergarten?
So the cutoffs are they need to turn 4 by September 1st for our TK program, and they need to turn 5 by September 1st for our kindergarten program. And the differences between the classrooms is our TK is very catered through those fine motor skills, getting them to know the foundational skills of recognizing letters, numbers, grouping things. It's an introductory to addition, subtraction, multiples, but it's very much play-based. The learners are very much being taught social emotional learning, and we're helping them transition through those times, getting them through a schedule and doing projects and activities, get them loving school.
Yeah.
Number one thing is just loving them coming to school. And then as they move into kindergarten, they have some of those foundational skills. So as they're in kindergarten, they've already learned how to hold a pencil and cut and glue. And that's just that's why it's called a transitional kindergarten. It's that age group where it's kind of just before they turn 5, but not quite, but it helps them get them through into that foundational skills that gets them into kindergarten. And in kindergarten, we hone in on those skills as well as get them prepared for first grade. We go into a deep dive into fluency and math foundations and get them through that with projects and activities. And so that's the difference between the two is, transitional kindergarten is that initial foundation before kindergarten, fine motor skills. Kindergarten, we dive into those fine motor skills and advance them into reading and how to utilize those skills more in depth.
I love that. The state of California has now added transitional kindergarten to the public schools here in California. It is so important, like you said, kind of learning how to learn, learning how to get along, learning how to, be in school, love that. And then, kindergarten is where you really start laying those academic foundations. I'm sure every single family wants to know this. So just backing up, if you've got a child that is turning 4 by November 1st, you're going to be enrolling them in transitional kinder. I'm sorry. Thank you. By September 1st. Thank you very much. Turning 4 by September 1st, you're going to enroll them in TK. If they're turning 5 by I almost did it again. Turning 5 by September 1st, then you're going to be enrolling them in kindergarten. So that's the date cutoff is September 1st. I know families are always going to ask you, do y'all do a half-day kinder or a full-day kinder?
We generally have a full-day kinder. I have learners that I have a couple learners this year that are still doing a half-day, but they're in my classroom for kindergarten, so they do their kindergarten learning and all of their academics with me, and they do leave half-day with our TKers. TK is still a half-day program.
Okay.
So we do accommodate to some of the learners, but we don't offer it fully for kindergarten. It is a full-day program. But like I said, we're trying to make your learners comfortable and happy. And if we need to start off with maybe a half day, and we'll move forward into a fuller day. But we are more than happy to accommodate with those needs. And our learners. But our kindergarten program is a fully full-day program from 8:30 to 3:10.
How beautifully flexible. So TK is a half-day program. Kindergarten is a full-day
Yeah.
program, but families can still make it a half-day program if that's what's right for their kid.
Yes, and then as the year progresses, for example, those couple learners that I have that are half days are starting to come a little bit fuller days, or are thinking of the idea of, next year in first grade they do have to be here the full day, and let's start transitioning them into that full day, so that by the end of kindergarten they're here the full day, so that they understand that when they go into first grade they are here till 3:10.
Beautifully customizable, and just plays right into, well, honestly, everything that y'all do at SCVi, which is individualized learning, the curriculum, the educational format, even whether you're going to full day or half day kindergarten, is individualized to each student. Beautiful. What an amazing experience. Desiree Lopez teaches kindergarten at SCVi. You got a lot more going on, Desiree, other than just the TK and kindergarten roundup. And I want to talk about all those different events coming up, as well as I want to give our listeners kind of a glimpse into your classroom, do a little bit of a deep dive on what kindergarten looks like at SCVi. So all y'all 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds, grab your parents and have them get you to SCVi Charter School on March 13th, 5:30 p.m. It's a free event. It's a free public charter school. Be there, but you know what? Don't go nowhere just yet. When we get back, we're going to take that sneak peek at what kindergarten looks like in Miss Lopez's class. I'm Matt Watson. This is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley, and you're listening to your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back indeed. It is a beautiful Friday morning, and you are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. I am Matt Watson, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. Joining me this morning is Desiree Lopez. She is the amazingly energetic kindergarten teacher. We call them facilitators. Whenever I say that, though, people wag their fingers at me and they say, Matt, I know what you're doing. You guys at charter schools, you don't call them teachers because they're not actually credentialed teachers. False. If you weren't here last segment when I was reading Desiree's credentials, oh boy, they are much more than highly qualified. But anyways, Desiree is a credentialed teacher. She's one of the amazing kindergarten facilitators at SCVi Charter School. And 2 weeks from last night, in 2 Thursdays, they're going to be hosting their annual roundup for kindergarten and TKers. But before we do, I want to talk about a couple of other events, programs that they've got going on at SCVi, and then we're going to take a little bit of a peek into her classroom. Desiree, I understand that SCVi has a DLI program, and that has become all the rage around town. Parents have finally discovered how incredibly important it is for their kids to grow up bilingual, or at least with a functioning understanding of a second language. I'm talking about your dual language immersion program at SCVi. So I know that the elementary grades all have an option for the dual language immersion program. Does that include kindergarten as well?
Yes, this includes kindergarten. It does begin in kindergarten. Our program for the dual language immersion goes from kindergarten to 5th grade. After that, it is, I believe, a choice that they can do Spanish with a Spanish-speaking facilitator after 5th grade. So from kindergarten to 5th grade, we have a program in which kindergarten, we kind of do those foundations. We introduce a lot of, oh my gosh, my brain.
That's okay.
Sorry.
I'm guessing
so
if it's...
We do those foundations.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Well, I was guessing if it was
So
kindergarten, you're doing numbers, letters, things like that, sounds the same you would in English, but you're also doing that in Spanish?
Yes, so we're doing it in Spanish. Our model is generally 50-50. So an English-speaking California teacher will teach the English portion and the grammar, so that they're getting that foundational skills in every grade, and they're progressing in, obviously, English. But in Spanish, they're getting math and Spanish numbers. Morning meetings are all done in Spanish. We have teachers from Spain and Mexico that come to our school, and they teach our learners all of this, and it's in their language. A lot of our teachers, myself included, also speak both languages and speak Spanish as well and kind of introduce it. I did TK last year and did a little bit of the introductory with our TKers and our Spanish-speaking teacher last year with those TKers, and this year also a little bit of Spanish. Miss Chris, who's our TK teacher, or Miss C, she's introduced a little bit of Spanish in her classroom as well, and does a little bit of greetings. That's the word I was looking for, the greetings, and just conversational for their age.
Okay, muy bien, maestra. I like it. Okay, so you've got so you've got an amazing kindergarten program, and families can opt into. Again, fully customizable. You've got families that are saying, you know what, I'm just going to drop my kid off for half day. You've got other families staying for full day kindergarten. You can do the dual language immersion program, or you can do the straight English only program. Absolutely amazing kindergarten. Yeah. You've also got a fun event coming up that I believe is the entire elementary school. This has become a bit of a tradition around SCVi. Talking about the Spring Family Literacy Night. That's coming up too. Can you tell our listeners what that event is about and what families can expect at the SCVi Spring Family Literacy Night?
So our Literacy Night is amazing. I have to just gloat about it. Every year I get so excited because we get the kids involved during class time, so it's part of our project, and we decorate. They get to know what we're going to do. We advertise to the learners all the time to come and we get to read a story, and our teachers are so very engaged, and they love reading stories. So this is a chance for every age group is welcome to come. So TK through 12 is all welcome to come and join us for this event. So it's not just littles. You'd be surprised how many of the older kids love it when it's story time and they come visit the kindergarten classroom. Kids like reading children like being read to at any age.
Absolutely.
But our Literacy Night is such an awesome event. They come, they get to listen to stories from various teachers in both languages. The DLI team also gets together and we read stories in English and Spanish from our culture, from our experiences that kind of resonate with us as the educators. And the learners get to do activities. We have, coloring bookmarks. We have painting activities in the lower classrooms. The older classrooms have projects and activities that kind of coincide with the book that they're reading. And it's just an exciting time. The families are super engaged. The parents are so excited. It creates a sense of pride when the parents come through and they're just like, oh my gosh, this was so awesome. It was so nice to experience this. And just brings a sense of community. It's just very nice. We kind of open it to the community to come and visit and see our school and just see what it's like to be at SCVi. And it's just very nice and very academically inclined. And it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun.
It is so much fun. And y'all, the teaching teams pull out all the stops to make it thematic around the books that you're reading. I remember one of the classrooms that I was in, I think it was last year or the year before, the teacher was reading a book about camping, and she had a full tent set up, and so some of the kids were inside the tent listening, and there was a little fake campfire, and they were making s'mores, and this isn't just come sit and have your teacher read to you. It is a wicked fun night. Desiree, did I hear you right? Did you say that the public is welcome at the SCVi Family Literacy Night as well?
Yes, we do invite families outside of our SCVi family, especially those that are touring or kind of on the rocks on whether or not they're wanting to join a charter school. This is a perfect time to come and see what our school is like. A lot of our teachers in all the age groups kind of have, stuff posted on the walls of the projects we've been doing and the activities and all the learning that we've been introducing in the classroom, as well as the thematic classroom setup. But yes, our community is welcome to come and see our school and visit, and anyone in the area, including I know that some of our charter school learners go to different area schools, please come see us. Come see SCVi. Come hang out. Have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a free event. If we're inviting the public, Desiree, we better tell them when it is. What date, what time?
So March 6th, that's next week. It will be from, I believe, 5:30 to 7.
Okay, I have on my list here 5 to 6:30. But if you show up at 5:30, you're not going to miss anything because you can bounce around to different classrooms. So, but yeah, March 6th, 5 p.m., SCVi Charter School. Just Google it, SCVi. We're the top hit. Our SEO is amazing. But that's the SCVi Family Literacy Night coming up next week. It's amazing. March is already here. Family Literacy Night, March 6th, 5 p.m. at SCVi. What an amazing event. And then, and then let's see. So I promised our listeners that they would get a glimpse into your classroom. So class is about to start. What have you got, about another 10, 15 minutes here? Your kiddos are going to be coming in. You walk in to, is it Miss Lopez or is it Miss Desiree? What do they call you?
Miss Lopez.
Okay, so you walk into Miss Lopez's class. What does the typical day look like in Miss Lopez's class at SCVi?
So right now, because we're in the spring, in the beginning in the fall, what my classroom generally looks like is we come into the class and we have our morning meeting. So, or what's considered our circle time. Mm-hmm. We call it our morning meeting because we discuss our social emotional goals. It's the first thing we talk about. We talk about expectations. We discuss as a class, what does that look like today? What are we doing? What does our schedule look like? I run through the schedule and just kind of give the learners an idea. And I also tell them when our learning times are, because we do learning first. So first things first.
Okay.
We teach the 7 habits of highly, sorry, I'm thinking of the other one for the adults. We teach the 7 habits of happy children or happy kids.
Uh-huh.
And we also do social emotional learning. And this is all in the first 15 minutes of class. They come in. It's very positive. I greet everyone at the door. We all say hello, good morning. Hope everyone had a nice night. Hope dinner was delicious. We ask small general questions just to get the day started, to get them very excited for the day. Then my next activity through the day is our math. So we do like number corner, and we're moving all of the frogs and on our number line to count how many days of school we're in. We put in our math. It's very much where we're learning higher level math for lower learners. So we're learning place value, but they don't know that yet.
Right.
And so we're counting and we're putting the little cubes into the ones place value. And once we get to 10 days of school, we're moving to the tens place and the hundreds place. And as we progress through the year, we're starting to learn that. And they start to say, oh, that's what that's called, Miss Lopez. Yes, this is our place value. We've been using it all year. And then as the year progresses, I let the learners lead our morning meetings. So they lead the calendar, they lead the days of the week, and they get a chance to, quote unquote, be the teacher in my classroom and some of the other classrooms where they get to be the teacher. They get to lead by example, and they get a sense of pride of being like, I get to be the teacher this time. And we do Bridges Math, which is our curriculum here at SCVi. And we do our learning. After that, it's hands-on activities. So based off of what our lesson was in our number corner, we do either hands-on activities, games, worksheets to kind of coincide and kind of hone in on those skills. And after that, in our kindergarten classrooms, we generally put out centers where they're doing rotations. One of those rotations is a one-on-one session with myself where it's a smaller group. So the first ones are all large group activities, and then we kind of transition into smaller groups. We have recess every single day. We have lunch every day. During our recess time, they get to play. It's their free time. They eat a snack. It's about 20 minutes of time where they get to be outside and just run and get some jitters out. When we come back, we work on foundational skills for reading and writing.
Okay.
And then again, centered. And so we always try to embed activities into our day-to-day so that the kids are learning practicing and then playing with activities that they're learning throughout the day, and it kind of helps make sure that we're embedding those things in the classroom. And we're also teaching them how to use technology in the classroom. We have computers, short times throughout the day where they get to use them and learn how to use them respectfully.
Okay.
In the classroom. And yeah, that's our day. We're just teaching, learning, and having fun.
Well, yeah, and it's so important, and it's funny oftentimes. You mentioned play quite often, and it's funny oftentimes as adults we forget that play is learning, especially at that age, but at all ages really. So, Desiree, you mentioned your circle time, your morning meeting, and how important that social emotional learning is. You, as an early childhood expert, can you explain to our listeners, in your opinion, why social emotional learning is so important rather than, let's take that extra 15 minutes and put it toward reading or math? Why is that social emotional learning so important?
So, when you go to work, Matt, if you're not feeling good, do you feel good the rest of the day?
No, I do not, but I usually have coffee for that.
No.
Yeah.
But learners, little ones don't have that coffee. What they
That's
have
true.
is someone who's initially coming in, and if you have a bright smile and you make your day about their transitions through the day, and if they start off the day feeling great, that helps them with their learning. And if they're having a hard time, the social emotional helps with how can I help this learner through that emotion that's blocking them from, being nice to their friends, being respectful, doing their work, wanting to learn, and loving school. So that social emotional is so important, especially for the little ones, because we're teaching them how to speak, use their words to speak up and say, Miss Lopez, I'm not feeling 100% today. Okay, let's take a break. I have learners that will walk in sometimes in the mornings and just say, I had a hard morning.
Oh.
I wasn't ready for school. Can I take a break?
Oh,
and
gosh.
as adults, I think we forget that we can take a break.
Well,
and teaching that at a young age is just, you can take a break.
And that self-awareness is so incredibly important, Desiree. That notion of, I don't feel good, let me identify that feeling, and then let me problem solve and figure out how to deal with those feelings. That's incredibly important.
Exactly.
I know tons of adults that don't know how to do that. That is so interesting, because I know it's an important skill in every kindergarten class in America to identify feelings, right? You've got that chart on the wall with all the different faces, and, oh, that's a happy face, that person's feeling happy, and that's a sad face, that person's feeling sad. But to be able to identify our own emotions and what to do about them is incredible.
Yeah. So teaching them to regulate in a very positive way and be able to speak about it, or even like, okay, maybe they don't want to talk about it, but to be able to voice that, I don't want to talk about it. I just don't feel okay. And sometimes they're super excited and they want to just jump around and they come in super excited. But that's also teaching them how to regulate that emotion and just say, my friend, I think you're very excited. Let's take a couple deep breaths. And once we're done with those deep breaths, now tell me how you're feeling. It's like, oh, I've calmed down a little, Miss Lopez. I was just very excited to be at school. And just to teach them to regulate, to help with them. We have an amazing support staff here. Miss Janae, who's one of our counselors, just came in yesterday and helped us with empathy. And we teach that as well at our school. We have teachers and staff, support staff that come and help us out in the classrooms. And our care team is amazing also, who I commend because they're always here to help and support us in the classrooms and our school with our learners with needs, and just here to support everyone. And just having that, especially in the younger ones and the little ones, having people just coming by and like, oh, do you need a hug? Or do you need a high five? Or you're doing an awesome job. And that also helps out in our school community. We just have a very positive group.
Gosh, that sounds fantastic. So, all right, I just kind of want to reset things. Your class sounds amazing, and I know it's probably no different than the kindergarten facilitator that you share space with and that you work and plan with, and then it just progresses up from there. Again, SCVi, Santa Clarita Valley International Charter School, serves grades TK. That's your 4-year-olds, as long as they're 4 years old by September 1st. serving TK all the way through 12th grade. Desiree, let's reset some of these events, right? Because you've really, I think, piqued people's interest a bit about TK and kindergarten and the rest of the grades at SCVi. Let's remind them of the different events we've got coming up. So you've got an event next week, March 6th, the Family Literacy Night, where you and your colleagues are going to be reading to kids. That is 5 to 6:30 p.m. in the various different classrooms. And then what date was the TK Kindergarten Roundup?
March 13th.
March 13th, 5:30 p.m. Oh, great. So look at this progression. If you're listening right now, perfect progression, right? You heard about SCVi's amazing kindergarten TK program on the radio. Next week, you're going to go to the Family Literacy Night, open to the public, March 6th, 5 p.m. The following week, you're going to go to the TK Kindergarten Roundup and get to meet all the TK and kindergarten teams and do just a deep dive in what TK and kindergarten looks like at SCVi. That's March 13th, 5:30. And then to enroll, what's the website? That would be iLead Santa Clarita, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry.
there we go. That's iLeadSantaClarita.org. Much easier is to just Google SCVi for Santa Clarita Valley International. You Google SCVi, their website comes up, and it's just beautifully designed. There's a tab where you can click on events, and you can RSVP for these events. And I always like to offer my listeners a hack. Fill out the enrollment application now. It's free. There's no deposit. And then if you change your mind later, you can just pull your application. Doesn't matter. So one more time, it's iLeadSantaClarita.org or just Google SCVi to RSVP for all these different events, the TK Roundup, the Family Literacy Night. Miss Lopez, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I know your pequeñitos are coming in soon, so we'll let you go. One more time, iLeadSantaClarita.org for more information on the event. Click the events button at the top of the page to RSVP. You also can sign up to take a tour or even fill out that enrollment application. And remember, it's all free because we are a free public charter school. No application fee, no deposit, no tuition. Apply today. iLeadSantaClarita.org. When we get back, a very special event for a very special group of Saugus High alumni. And what the heck happened to Gene Hackman? I'm Matt Watson. You're listening to SCVi and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley. We'll be right back on your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley. Saugus Centurion alumni. I know you're out there. I've got a very special invitation for some of you Centurions, but not all of you, just the very best of the Saugus High School alumni. I'm talking about the Saugus High class of 1990. First off, you're getting old. You're well into your 50s now. Heck, some of you are grandparents, but you know what? You've never looked better. And how do I know? Because I'm one of you. That's
there
right.
It is. There it is.
And we are coming up on a 35th high school reunion. That's right, 35 years already. You want to know the crazy thing? I remember my mother's 35th high school reunion, and it was in the 2000s.
Oh, God.
We are old,
Stop.
y'all. So,
Stop.
yeah, you know, your 30th, that's Saugus High, class of 90. Your 30th got COVID canceled. Our 30th reunion just got wiped out. I was at our 10-year, and it was fun. It was weird. 10-year reunions are just weird, right? You're all trying too hard.
Yeah. You're still mini adults. You haven't really fully
Yeah.
committed to adulthood yet at 28.
I understand our 20-year was absolutely amazing. I was living out of the country and wasn't able to attend. And then that 30th got COVID canceled. So we're going crazy this time. Yeah, I said we. Like I said, I'm a member of the Saugus High class of 90 as well. So check this out. This from one of the event organizers, Kelly Contis. You remember Kelly, yes. Saugus High School's homecoming is September 5th, so mark your calendars for that Friday and Saturday to celebrate our 35 years. Meaning Kelly's been in contact with the principal at Saugus High and others, and they will also do a shout-out for us at the game. We're also looking into blocking hotel rooms and getting a good rate for those of you out-of-towners. Yeah, there's a few of you that have left Awesome Town. So Kelly's working on getting you a good rate at one of the hotels here locally. Let's meet at Saugus High's homecoming game Friday night, September 5th. That's coming up faster than you think. And then the next Saturday, perfect for the class of 1990, Saturday, September 6th, we're hooking up at Lucky Luke's Brewing Company here in Santa Clarita. We'll reminisce about how amazing Mr. Worley was. God rest his soul. We'll listen to some of Mr. Kovnat's music. Did you know that Mr. Kovnat is now retired and he's making music? Yeah. Maybe we'll listen to some of Miss Candelaria's poetry. You didn't realize that Senora Candelaria was an award-winning poet, did you? And then, you know what? I might even be able to talk Mrs. Stroh into coming as well. Did you take Mrs. Stroh for typing? Anyways, for more information and updates on the reunion of the Saugus High School Class of 1990, you can check out the Saugus High School Class of 1990 Facebook page, or you can stay tuned to Eye on the Valley every Friday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. here on KHTS. Or you know what? Just call the main phone line here at the station and ask for Lisa. She's also Saugus High, Class of 1990.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. I've known Lisa since we were
Many
youngsters.
years,
Yeah, many, many years.
Wow.
So, yeah, Saugus High School Class of 1990, 35-year reunion coming up. Stay tuned for more information.
I refuse to believe that the 90s were that long ago. I'm right behind you. I am coming up on my 30th. High school reunion date. Yeah. So
Okay.
I still have to do the math, even for like 2000. I think, okay, wait a minute. That was 10 years ago, right? No.
No, that was 25 years ago.
It's just, your brain is not allowing it. It's weird.
Yeah, and I
weird.
hate seeing those things on social media that remind us, like, 1980 is closer to World War I than it is to today, or whatever.
God,
Whatever
I can't
it is.
scroll past that fast enough.
That is horrible. I mentioned it. There's still some weird things going on to completely change gears in a hurry. What happened to Gene Hackman?
It's so weird.
It is weird. Both he and his wife and his dog, only one of the 3 dogs, found dead in their home yesterday. Not sure what happened. Gene was found in the mud room.
Yeah.
His wife in the bathroom.
Right. And then the pills is what's throwing me off, because at first everyone was saying carbon monoxide
That's
poisoning,
what I was thinking.
Or maybe they all ate something. They gave the dog some scraps or something, and it was,
But they found the dog in the closet.
The dog was in the closet, yeah. But no forced entry, right?
Well, they don't think so. The door was open.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Just really
it's sad.
interesting. It is sad. And I was talking to Engineer Andrew on the way in. Do you know how many movies Gene Hackman was in?
I do not. I know many.
Yeah, all of them is what the official count was.
He's a legend, yeah.
He is an absolute legend.
Yeah.
He was in Westerns. He was in action adventures.
He's Lex Luthor.
Romances. He was the coach of the Hoosiers. Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
Why don't you dial in and watch the Hoosiers this weekend? But stick around. Don't turn on that Gene Hackman movie yet. When we come back, Leap. No Pointer Sisters. Don't jump. Leap. I'm talking about Leap Children's Museum. They've got a really cool event coming up soon, but this one's not for the kids. It's for you adults. Stay tuned. I'm Matt Watson. You're listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. We'll be right back on your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back, you youngsters. Alrighty, you are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Old Man Matt Watson, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. You ever wonder why? Well, now I'm starting to feel really old. I'm starting to feel like Andy Rooney. You ever wonder why?
It grinds my gears.
Nice. Anyways, you ever wonder why in a city with over 1/3 people, that's right here in Santa Clarita, we got over 1/3 people, why don't we have a children's museum? You know, there's a lot of facilities that we have out there, some amazing installations here in town, and there's some that we still don't have that we need, but 1/3 people, and we don't have a children's museum. You know, the Saugus High Class of 1990 remembers getting on a bus and taking that long bus ride downtown to the LA Children's Museum back in the day. But now they have kids, and some of us even have grandkids, and we're still driving them out of town to take them to a quality children's museum, and that just ain't right. And my next guests are here to do something about it. Kari McCoy, president of Leap Children's Museum, and Elana Strazzulla, the coordinator of a very cool event that they're planning, both joined me this morning, and they're here to tell us all about it. Kari, Elana, welcome to Eye on the Valley.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. So let's start by learning a little bit about each of you. I always like to get to know our guests a little bit, and then we'll get into this amazing project, the great big project, as well as the recent project coming up. So tell us a little bit about your role with LEAP, as well as your role with the JCIs of Santa Clarita, because I know y'all are partnering together to get this going.
Yeah, so I am the founder of the Children's Museum, the LEAP Children's Museum, and I'm also a member of JCI. And for why we started this, you know, as a member of JCI, I've realized that there's a lot of power in seeing what you don't have, as you mentioned. In the city, we don't have this, and how crucial it could be for us, and feeling empowered to do something about it.
Yeah, I love that. And what about you, Elana?
I have been an active member of JCI for approaching a year now.
Okay.
And I've taken on smaller leadership roles for projects like 40 Under 40 and Santa's Helpers. So when I met Kari and she approached me about this opportunity to co-chair an event, I was just like gung-ho. I was excited to be part of it.
Yeah, and I'm excited about the event. It's going to be really, really cool. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But Kari, you've well, I was going to say kind of, but not kind of. You have been the visionary of this huge project. Where did the idea come from for LEAP Children's Museum?
Actually, the idea for LEAP sparked by my experience with JCI. So it really gave me the audacity to believe that I could make it happen. As a member, I created different projects that shifted my mindset from why isn't this happening here to how can I make this happen? And a series of things happened. So JCI had a meeting with the city manager, or with the mayor at the time, Jason Gibbs. And Jason gave us a really good, in-depth understanding of the city's vision to be a destination. That paired with my experience as a mother and taking my children to children's museums hours away, realizing that if we're going to be a destination, we go out of city to Pasadena, to LA to try and visit this. So why don't we have this here? And because of the events that I have put on with JCI, I felt this need to do it myself instead of wait for somebody else to do it and complain about it not happening.
Right, which is what most of us do, right? Why don't we have this? Why don't we have that? And I love just that tiny pivot of how can we, and the recognition and the ownership that it starts with me, right? So that's hugely important. You mentioned that this is all part of Santa Clarita's vision to become a destination location, and from literally day one, you did that. I remember, and we'll talk a little bit more about it in a second, the first pop-up museum that you did last summer, and you and I were there as families were coming down from the Antelope Valley, from Ventura, from Santa Barbara. Folks were coming up from even south of Los Angeles for a weekend pop-up event. You're doing it, Kari. So walk me through kind of the evolution. You're a teacher, right? And so you're hanging around. You've got this dream, and you decide, okay, I'm going to go for it. What's been the process after that? How has the dream gone from just an idea to where we are today?
So I started with coming to the JCIs and saying, guys, I think this should happen, and getting their feedback. I talked to the president, Carlos Orozco, at the time, and Alex Affizi, and said, doesn't this feel like it should happen? And they agreed. And so then I said, okay, well, let me go to the city and see how they feel about it. Why hasn't this happened yet? So I met with each of the city council members, and I asked them what they felt about it, what they would want to see. And Mayor Jason Gibbs was very instrumental in giving us support in figuring out what our real steps needed to be. So he encouraged me to try and get other organizations and big partners involved. And so I went to 40 different businesses. We created a board, we created the nonprofit, and we started rallying support. And then we came back to the city, and we went in front of the city council and let them know where we were. And they started partnering with us and imploring us to connect with Centennial and making steps. So it's been a journey of trying to get experts that are established in the community and asking their feedback of how they've been successful.
Yeah, and you're doing it, looking at your board members and list of supporters, it's just a veritable who's who in Santa Clarita. So you're doing a great job. Elana, we heard from Kari kind of about her vision and why she thinks this is important. But you mentioned that, yeah, once you had the opportunity, you jumped right in. Why do you think it's important to add a children's museum here in the Santa Clarita Valley?
Yeah, it's been incredible seeing the collaboration between the LEAP Board of Directors and their team and our JCs. So JCI Santa Clarita is really all about creating a positive change and investing in the future of our community. So a LEAP Children's Museum really aligns with that perfectly because not only are we creating a space for young minds to explore, learn, and engage, but we're also giving the opportunity to our young leaders to take on these roles and actually like really just dive into it. So not only are we enriching the lives of children in the community, but also strengthening our local economy by attracting families, educators, and businesses that all value innovation and education and all care about the cause.
Yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
been incredible seeing like all of the people that are just so excited to be part of it.
Yeah, it's, pretty much everybody that I've talked to about it, they all have the same question. Yeah, why hasn't this happened years ago? So, Kari, love the name LEAP, and your guys' branding is absolutely beautiful. It's an acronym like iLead. So tell our listeners what LEAP stands for, and then what the ultimate vision for LEAP is. What's 10, 15 years down the road, what's your vision for the LEAP Children's Museum?
Sure. So LEAP stands for Learn, Experience, Act, and Play. And those are the pillars of what we want children coming into our facilities to be able to do. We really want them engaged. So the vision is, if I have my way, if I win the lottery, I'm going to buy a big parcel of land and I want to have 20,000 square feet, or when the right partner comes in, a 20,000 square feet space. I want it to be a destination where people from out of state come to see it. We want inside of it to have science where kids are exploring the principles of physics and gravity and sound. We want to also have careers spotlighted. So we want to have automation. We want to have like automotive department, and we want to have aerospace. But within this museum, we also want to have Santa Clarita's history embedded in it. So we want to have agriculture area where maybe we do gold mining, or we have animal prints from animals that you would find in the Santa Clarita Mountains, and have native plants and talk to them about Santa Clarita. Or we want to have a water play area that matches the San Francisco Dam, and they could be building it and see how it fell apart. And have the aqueduct and have like a water slide. So we want to have enriched within the museum where they can be playing, but also be proud of Santa Clarita's history, talking about our oil, our filming, our Western principles, our like, all of the different things that Santa Clarita has had over the years. But all of it comes down to them having hands-on experiences to fall in love with learning instead of being passive learners.
What an amazing vision. Y'all got to get behind this. You got to do anything you can to help them out. You got a huge parcel of land. You got a half acre that you can give Kari and LEAP Children's Museum. Do it. Or you know what? If you've got a little extra time on April 1st, come play with them. You can support them in all different ways. We'll get to that in just a little bit. So we've now gone from light bulb idea to the full layout of your vision. So how have you been spreading the word, Kari? How have you been getting the word out about we need a children's museum? It's going to be LEAP Children's Museum. Let's do this. How have you been spreading the word?
So a lot of it has been very personal connections and conversations about it. But then also when we did our summer pop-up, we had a bigger reach to the parents in the community. Also, I forgot to mention, as we started workshopping this idea, we went to the community. And so we posted on Facebook in 24 hours a survey asking them what the parents and the families would want to see in town. And so we had 500 respond, 500 families respond and tell us all about what they want to see in it. And that they feel strongly that they would want memberships and they would want to be involved. So a lot of word of mouth, a lot of social media, a lot of partners like KHTS has been instrumental in partnering with us and getting the word out, as well as like the local press. So that's been our main source. But also with the summer pop-up, what we found was that people have Google alerts for Children's Museum. So when we posted the pop-up on social media, it was enough to spread our word to have people from Monrovia or Bakersfield come all the way down for one weekend.
Yeah. Wow. Wow, that's amazing. So incredibly important what you know, but especially here in Santa Clarita, much more importanter, because it's a word, is who you know, right? And who you're playing with. So what partners have you been working with, and who's been helping you rally support for the LEAP Children's Museum?
So this one, I want to make sure I don't miss anybody, because we have had such incredible support from iLead.
Well, it's an amazing idea, yeah.
Yeah, so iLead has been, I love iLead, because iLead, I know, I swear I'm not trying to get extra points here, but iLead is...
Your flattery will get you everywhere.
But iLead is so aligned with our mission of active learners, and so iLead was a great partner that jumped on right away and came and supported us every step of the way. KHTS has been an incredible partner, obviously JCI. So JCI not only is throwing this event for us, but they are very supportive with getting us volunteers at the pop-up. And constantly tell their members about what we're doing. So JCI has partnerships with different nonprofits in town, and LEAP is one of them. The Valley Industry Association, they have been instrumental in getting us partnerships and being supportive and energized behind this as well. And local businesses and educational leaders like COC, we had some partnership there, and we're hoping to rebuild that with the new leadership.
Yeah.
So, and then the city has been very supportive. Like Jason Gibbs has been very thoughtful in giving me ideas for next steps.
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
So many partners and supporters.
Yeah, and that's what's gonna put you over the top. You and I talked before we went on the air about kind of being at that critical pinnacle, right? And it's those supporters that are gonna help get you there. But what an amazing vision! It's a lot easier to get there, right? If you can see it, then you can do it. So.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that Valencia Town Center, even, they had given us that space last year to have the pop-up. They offered that space to us at free of cost, and they helped market it. They've been a great partner as well.
You're right, and I remember they offered it free of cost for a weekend, and we did the event for a weekend. Tell our listeners what happened about halfway through it. Yeah,
we sold out every spot, and we got a lot of parents begging and emailing us and calling and saying, please, 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 we really wanted to go. And so Valencia Town Center offered us additional time in the space, and we went ahead and added another weekend.
Yeah, it was great. They kind of doubled down on their offer for free space for a weekend. That was fantastic. Kari McCoy, Elana Strazzulla joined me this morning. Kari is the president of LEAP Children's Museum. Elana is coordinating an amazing event they've got coming up soon that they're hoping you'll attend. But you're going to need a babysitter for the night, because this one's just for the adults. Stick around, find out more about that event and more about the LEAP. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. Joining me this morning are Kari McCoy, president of LEAP Children's Museum, and Elana Strazzulla, the coordinator of a very cool event that LEAP is planning. So, Kari, you mentioned it. iLead participated in that pop-up children's museum that you had last summer to raise awareness. Can you share just a little bit more in depth what you and the rest of your team at LEAP Children's Museum were able to do in the style of a pop-up, just kind of almost overnight? Can you explain what you were able to build temporarily in the mall last summer?
Yeah, with the partners of Blaha Construction and various other, and Shark Design, we created a construction-themed museum where kids were able to explore and get their hands dirty and becoming masoners and architects, and they were able to build with big blue blocks and jump in and start shoveling and use excavators. So we built a whole construction world for them to enter and be a part of.
Yeah, and then you kind of like did rotations. I think families came in for, initially it was 90 minutes, and we realized amazingly, and I think the parents were the ones that were most shocked, 90 minutes was too much. Kids were wiped out after 60. And so you bumped it down to 60-minute rotations. And
what was it, a 15-minute pause or something like that? Or?
Yeah, actually, it was actually the opposite. So we initially did 60 minutes,
okay.
and we turned it to 90 minutes because we were having parents feel a little rushed
Okay.
and children feel a little rushed. So we
All right.
ended up increasing the time the second weekend,
Oh,
which
that's
worked
right.
out. That was more of a sweet spot
Switch
for them,
shortened
so
it,
that
okay.
they had a little bit more time to explore and not feel rushed and have time to get their hands dirty. They needed about like an hour and a half, an
Okay.
hour and 50 minutes. But
That's right, because
Yeah.
that first weekend there were just too many kids leaving crying, right?
yeah, because they
didn't wanna
they
leave.
got dragged out. They
Yeah,
were not
yeah.
happy about that. So we extended it. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was fewer time slots.
Yes.
That's
and
what
we
it was.
did the
yeah.
time slots because what we saw was so many people wanted to come, and we wanted to make sure that this space was conducive for as many people that wanted to be there.
Sure.
So as much as we want everyone to come, we also want everyone to have a good time, and you're not having a good time if everyone's on top of each other. So we limited it to about 50 people to 60 people each session, but we entirely sold out. So we tried to add more times.
Yeah. And then that period of time, it was a short period of time in between each session.
Yes,
You know, we were
yes,
having
yeah.
families line up, but explain what your team was doing inside.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you think that a 90-minute session with 30, 40 kids in the Children's Museum gets frenetic, it got even more frenetic in between the sessions.
Yeah, so we are definitely taking cleanliness into account here, and we want everyone to come in with the same excitement. And so we had to reset with iLead volunteers and JCI volunteers. We had to reset every time the students or the children left. So the children would leave, and we'd reset everything so it looked just as new and clean. And so that the new session came in, and they felt like, wow, it's brand new, and it wasn't destroyed. You know,
Right, and all the toys, the big blue blocks,
Yes.
they were all
Reset.
sanitized, and there was one station that had sand, and so the whole carpet had to be vacuumed.
Yeah.
And,
Give me
and
no
and-
sand, no more sand,
No more sand.
no more sand.
But yeah, it was amazing what the team was able to do just in that quick turnaround. And like you said,
Volunteers.
it was, you know, even that 12th, 15th rotation of the weekend, it was brand new grand opening all over again. It's your team of volunteers was amazing, and you mentioned before the break how successful it was, right? I think the mall actually invited you back for the whole month.
Yes.
That's when the volunteers said, the whole month? Oh, I don't know that we can do that.
We work, yeah, absolutely. So we had 1,700 people come in a matter of 42 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Absolutely incredible. So, of course, hugely successful,
Yes.
right? And successful in kind of developing that foundation of the grassroots movement, but then also proof of concept,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
This is something that is
Yeah.
absolutely needed. So, is that something you guys are gonna do again? You're gonna do another pop-up?
So I will happily announce here for the first time
Uh-oh.
that we are going to do it again in June, and the mall has agreed that they would like for us to come again.
Fantastic.
So we're going to do another pop-up, and this one's going to be centered around health, total health.
Okay, fantastic. And I know that you and your team are so creative and brilliant. You're going to have a lot more immersive, interactive exhibits. We're not talking about just exhibits where kids come and play. It truly is. They get inside the exhibit and really do some amazing things. So that's going to be fun. So we look forward to that one coming up in June. But before that, Elana, you've got a really big event, for grown-ups who want to support LEAP, correct? Can you tell us about Night at the Museum?
Yes, of course. So our fundraiser, which is being led by JCI to fundraise for the LEAP Children's Museum, it's called LEAP Laboratory Night at the Museum. So it's going to be a cocktail-style event on April Fool's Day, April 1st, from 6 to 9:30 p.m., and it will be over at the Tesoro Clubhouse on Stony Creek Drive. So the idea for the event, it's going to be sort of like a cocktail party, but also with interactive, hands-on, fun science exhibits for adults 21 plus.
Okay.
So we're going to have a bunch of cool exhibits that are really focused on the five senses. So we'll have activities for each five sense to kind of get our people engaged. And then on top of that, we're also going to have cocktails, appetizers, and we're also going to have entertainment. We'll be having a magician from the Magic Castle come. So it's going to be a fun event.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be so cool. almost like a children's museum for the big children,
Yes.
the ones that are of age.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So again, adults only, 21 and up, April 1st, April Fool's Day. Is that going to play into the event at all?
No.
No? Okay.
It's just a fun day.
Okay. So is this something that folks they should be wearing costumes, or just come after, what day of the week is that?
It's going to be on a Tuesday.
It's on a Tuesday, so they're going to be coming after work.
Yes, so it's
Okay.
going to start at 6 p.m., so people
All right.
have a little bit of time to get over there. But yeah, we're going to have a lot of like fun sciencey props. We're planning on ordering lab coats for all of our volunteers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're going to have a bunch of cool like props. Our cocktails are going to be served in sciencey like beakers. So everything's going to be
Nice.
mad science theme. It's going to be wild.
Oh my gosh, that is going to be so much fun. This is going to sell out. Are tickets on sale already?
They are, and you can find them on leapmuseum.org. We haven't posted it just yet because we were trying to give our partners the first right, because we do have a limited amount of early bird tickets,
Okay.
but it will be posted on leapmuseum.org by the end of the week.
Okay, leapmuseum.org by the end of this week.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm assuming y'all have got social media blast ready to go
Yes.
and get out the word. Tell you what, set an alarm, set a timer in your phone right now. So this weekend, right? Maybe Saturday, Sunday, and just set the following reminder in your phone. Saturday, let's say noon, right? Here, tell you what, hold your phone next to your speaker. I'll do it for you. You ready? Hey Siri, remind me noon on Saturday to go to leapmuseum.org and buy tickets.
You can also find them on JCI's social media and or Leap's social media.
Carrie, my phone's already got the reminder on there.
Great.
I'm sorry.
It's perfect.
Say that again. You can also find tickets where?
You can also find tickets or get the QR code to buy your ticket at JCI's social media. So their
Okay.
Instagram, JCI Santa Clarita, or Leap Children's Museum, so Instagram
Okay.
or Facebook.
So you remember you mentioned that both of you are members of JCI, and it was kind of came out of the work that JCI, Junior Chamber International, does on a regular basis. Y'all are looking for ways to give back to and make your communities a better place. But I'm getting the feeling that this is more than just an idea that came up at a meeting one night. This partnership between Leap Children's Museum and JCI's. Talk about that. Talk about how integral the partnership is and how that's been able to get you where you're at and why it's so important.
Yeah, so it is really the empowerment that I feel from JCI that kind of led to this idea, but it's the conversations that you have with ambitious, like-minded people at JCI that really led to, can I do this? And them confirming like, yeah, you can.
Mm-hmm.
You absolutely can. Here's a contact. Something that we say in JCI is, we know somebody who knows somebody who can get the job done, and so,
that's true.
right? And so that partnership, but the members of JCI, in order to throw this April Fool's Day party that they've created, it's a committee of 15, 20 people that are working. So it's not just Elana and Jimmy McCoy. It's also Stephanie Cassiano and Alex Affizi and all of these, Brian Wisdom, and it's a lot of people that are involved and taking little chunks of this big project.
Okay.
So that partnership is how you can do it, because you can't just do anything just one person.
Yeah. And the goal of JCI is really to develop our young leaders through acts of service. And so LEAP is like the perfect opportunity to leverage our people and get them involved in building this museum. Our members have helped with event planning, fundraising, spreading awareness. Everything that they can do, they're always hands-on about it. And what's amazing about the partnership with LEAP is not only building the museum, but we're also gaining this hands-on experience in nonprofit development, event coordination, project management, which a lot of us wouldn't have the opportunity to do if we weren't part of JCI.
Yeah, so after this, Elana gets to say, like, oh, yeah, I've created a project from the ground up,
Yeah.
and what all of that it entails.
Yeah, I've really learned so much, even just in the past few months that we've been working on this, and it's been incredible, like, seeing our team grow. and just seeing all the amazing people that still this late in the process want to hop on board and get involved.
You know, I never really thought of it that way. I knew that JCI was an organization that did a tremendous amount of things to support the community, and you know, you and your other members have been, you know, ubiquitous in the community. The JCs are everywhere and doing all the things, but I never really thought about how much y'all are getting out of that. That's amazing career training, right?
It is, and there's so many opportunities. So if you wanted to go into politics, if you wanted to go into city planning, if you wanted to go into, you know, creating your own business, you have a lot of connections. You have a lot of applicable experiences to understand yourself better and like your leadership style. Like there's times, so I created a financial literacy event called Get Real, and I was 2 months into being a JCI. And when I created that thing, you know, I had a group of 25 people working on this project that had never existed and building it. And I lost some people, I hurt some feelings, and you learn as a leader, like, oh, what are shortcomings that I have? What are things that I need to do differently, you know?
Okay.
It's a really good reflection of what you need to develop yourself to become a business owner or a politician, or go into VIA and become a board member there, or whatever you might need to do to move on with your career and your life.
It's funny, we weren't planning on having this conversation, but how would somebody become a member of JCI if they were interested?
So I would say the first thing that they should do is follow us on social media, find an event that speaks to them. We do all kinds of things. So if you don't want to necessarily take on a project, you don't have to. You can come to our book club or our hiking club, or come to our chat and chill at Lucky Luke's every Thursday. So there's, or the first Thursday of the month. So there's all kinds of ways that you can come and be a part of it and see if it's right for you. You'll definitely, if you get involved, make friends and have a lot of opportunities to lead and develop yourself.
Oh, very cool. So now let's get back to LEAP Children's Museum. That's why we're here. Y'all are looking at end goal to open a, what did you say, 20,000 square foot children's museum here in the heart of Santa Clarita. Beautiful vision. So what are some of the other ways that folks can support getting a children's museum here in Santa Clarita?
Yeah, you know, two of the big things that we are looking for is some person with a financial background, like a controller, so that when we get a partner that wants to give us $2 million, everyone feels very comfortable and secure that we can handle it. And so we do have a financial advisor coming in, and I'm hopeful that he will join the board. But if there's other people with a lot of finance backgrounds, we'd love your experience. Come get involved on our board. Or a grant writer. You know, it takes time to write grants, and we need some help with that, because I do work. I also have children, and I'm in my doctorate program. So there's a lot going on for me. So if I can get some grant writers, that would really make this possible. But also, I think the biggest thing is we need a partnership with a developer like Intertex or Centennial, or we need some land space. So those are the bigger items, but then there's smaller items. Like we're building a little volunteer coalition. So in support with JCI and our sponsors for the pop-up event, when we have volunteer opportunities, if you want to get involved, if you want to make this happen, that's the way you can make it happen. Spread the word about our fundraisers, spread the word about our pop-ups, and just be watching us and be on the lookout for ways to get involved if you want to get involved. You can also email me. So if you have a special talent that you think might be something useful here, you can go onto the leapmuseum.org website, and there's a contact us, and I read those emails. So if you have some kind of skill set, like you ran a nonprofit and you're retired now, or if you did grant writing and you wouldn't mind helping, or whatever your capacity might be, we'd love to hear it and see how we can get you involved.
Wow, opportunities for everyone.
Yeah.
And a literal opportunity for everyone. Elana, reset the event that you're having on April 1st real quick.
Okay, so it'll be called Leap Laboratory Night at the Museum. April 1st, 6 to 9:30 p.m. It's going to be fun, hands-on, 21 plus, kind of cocktail party. We'll also be having a silent auction.
Oh, cool.
Food, drinks, entertainment. It's going to be awesome.
It sounds like it's going to be awesome. And again, at the end of the week, tickets will be available on the website, leapmuseum.org. Head over there now, leapmuseum.org. Head over there on the weekend. Get your tickets for the April 1st event. Night at the Museum. That's not the full title. Say it again for me.
JCI presents Leap Laboratory Night at the Museum.
There we go. JCI presents Leap Laboratory Night at the Museum. Going to be an amazing night for adults supporting an amazing project for kids. That's everything that Santa Clarita is all about. Kari McCoy, president of Leap Children's Museum, and Elana Strazzulla, event coordinator of Leap Laboratory Night at the Museum. Get your tickets tomorrow.
Now you can go on our
Is it
social
available
media.
now?
Yeah, social media now.
Alrighty, go on their social media now. Okay, so get your tickets today. This one, I'm serious. This one's gonna sell out fast, and you're gonna be sad. You're gonna see the pictures on social media. You're gonna be mad that you weren't there. So get your tickets today to Leap Children's Museum, Leap Laboratory Night at the Museum, leapmuseum.org. It's like I said, it's gonna sell out. And speaking of sellouts, I think my brother's on the line. He seems to think that since he's the older brother, he's entitled to 10% of my radio show. I tried to complain, but Mom makes me. So if it's not too much trouble, folks, stick around. I can't take this on my own. I'm Matt Watson. This is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson. I'd like to welcome Engineer Andrew to the room.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you, sir. Engineer Jen is here. She's been here all morning with us and goofing off and rolling her eyes at us and all that stuff. But now it is time for Big T's 5 Minutes of Fame. Y'all know Big T. He is an executive and philanthropist. He's an amazing father, husband, and dog dad. And he, too, is a Saugus High grad, but from, like, the decade before. Here he is, everybody. He's Mom's favorite. Big T, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Maddie.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. I'm doing really well.
Good.
And y'all?
We're doing great. We're doing great. We're fired up, and you know, the last couple of weeks, Tony, you've been giving us life tips. 2 weeks ago, you had Valentine's tips. Last week, you had life tips, and we are all better humans because of it, he said facetiously. So have you got any tips for us today?
Yeah, you know, Maddie, the listener's been asking for it. Jen has been asking for Big T's tips.
Oh, yeah,
So,
totally.
We're going to keep with that segment.
She dislocated an eyeball on that one.
You know I
we're
love
going to
you.
bring in Big T's two tips for today is what we're going to call this.
All right.
So Leap has been looking for people with finance backgrounds. I heard her just mention. So
Yeah.
Big T has a couple of finance tips that may be able to help out the listeners this morning, and who knows, it may land me a seat on the board.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
I do have to clarify.
Big T's
though, that
usually
Big
not
T's
used to
tips do
having
not
a...
necessarily.
never mind.
Oh, siblings.
What was that?
Nothing.
Nothing.
So do keep in mind that Big T's tips do not necessarily reflect the views of KHTS, iLead, Frogger, or most rational people.
Thank you. You hear that, boss? This is not me.
All righty. So 2 finance tips for today. If you attempt to rob a bank, you will not have any trouble with rent or bills for the next 10 years, whether you're successful or not.
You know, Big T, if I ever did rob a bank, I would do it with a BB gun. Hey, give me your money or I'll give you a dimple. I will be rich and you will be cute.
Nice. Second tip, Maddie. I actually have a friend that has done this.
Oh.
If you loan somebody money, you know, that can get you in trouble. You loan friends or family money, and they don't pay you back. If you loan somebody money and they stiff you on it, file a 1099 with the IRS, and they'll at least have to claim it as income and pay taxes on it. They'll never hit you up again.
That's true.
I like that one. That's good.
Okay.
That's better than the potential jail time that you suggested before.
Yes. Big T's not a big fan of jail, but not that I've done that before or not, but no, it's not fun.
Okay.
So,
you got any more
Mark,
tips or are we going to
we've been
trivia now?
talking No, well, I got a little bit of a fun fact. We're talking a lot about 80s and 90s, and, you know, as a child of the 80s, there were a lot of things that we did that we just can't do now. In fact, just in the last 4 years, Frogger, 2 separate influenzas have kind of changed life as we knew it as kids. First there was COVID, and then now the bird flu.
Yep.
I mean, they're now considered valuable commodities. But back in my day, we would drive around town and throw toilet paper and eggs at our enemies.
Yeah. True story.
For cheap.
Just don't happen anymore.
Those were the salad days, yes.
Yeah, no. Those were the salad days. All right, are we ready for some trivia? Do you want to set up anything or no?
Well, I just want to remind our listeners, Big T's got trivia questions. Jen, Andrew, and I are going to compete. If we think we know the answer, we're going to hit our buzzer by shouting out our name. But you at home don't have to hit your buzzer. You don't have to shout out your name. You can get the drop on us by just shouting out the answer. See if you can beat us. But Jen, Andrew, and I, we are all three pretty smart folks. So I don't know that you're going to be able to do it. But give it a shot. Big T, go.
Perfect. We're going to start off with a little bit of movie trivia.
Right.
What 1986 movie stars Anthony Michael Hall, Emilio Estevez,
Andrew.
Ali Sheedy, Molly Frogger? Or was that Andrew first?
That was Andrew.
The Breakfast Club.
Okay. Breakfast Club.
I
is
mean, it
correct.
could have been a
You
couple
know,
of
just a little
answers.
side note.
True.
Yeah, just a side note. If you saw Breakfast Club when it came out in 1986, you're actually officially older than Richard Werner.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was -3.
Another side note. In the morning, when Anthony Michael Hall's character gets dropped off by his dad,
Yeah.
John Hughes.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, Matt, if you want to feel bad about getting older, Google search Anthony Michael Hall in Reacher. Reacher's a new show on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Get a look at what your boy looks like now.
Yeah. You talk about dimples. They're not there anymore.
No, neither are the braces.
Yeah. Nope.
All right. Next question. We'll always have Paris, and here's looking at
Frogger.
you, kid, are among the Frogger.
Casablanca.
Casablanca's correct. A sign reading, "Hope you have what she had," still hangs over a booth at Manhattan's Cat's Deli, where a scene from
Jen.
what rom-com was filmed. Jen,
When Harry Met Sally.
When Harry Met Sally, it is.
You know, they
won
reset
a
that
record
scene,
for it?
Tony. They reset that scene for a Super Bowl commercial. It just did not land.
No.
No.
Mr. Mayo's.
Yeah.
No.
Lightning in a
No, it
bottle.
did not.
Leave it
Right.
leave it where it was.
Exactly.
Who won a record 4 Academy Awards for Best Actress for Morning Glory in 1934? Guess Who's Coming to Dinner in 1968? The Lion in Winter in 1969?
Frogger.
And On Golden Pond in
Frogger.
1982.
Frogger. For
Now
the record,
he's got it.
I had it before On Golden Pond. Catherine Hepburn.
I saw the light in your eyes after the second
Catherine
one.
Hepburn.
That's true.
That is correct.
No, I mean, you old poop.
This movie includes a track from Kenny Loggins, Kevin Bacon performing his own dance.
Frogger.
Okay.
Go, Andrew. No, you were on it. You just couldn't pronounce your own name.
Yep. Footloose?
Footloose is correct.
Everybody cut. Everybody cut.
All righty. Some cartoon trivia. Back to that. In Aladdin, what's the name of Aladdin's pet monkey?
Andrew.
Jen.
Oh.
There you go.
Andrew.
You were first.
Abu.
Abu is correct.
You know, I was.
What's the-
You beat me to the punch. I was going to say Apu,
Yep.
but that's the liquor store owner in The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Amazing how it comes full circle for you, huh,
Right?
Frogger?
Yeah. My mind
you
is
drink enough
an
Bubba
amazing
Boo,
place to spend some time.
Yes. If you drink enough after stopping at Abu, Matt, do you actually have a pet monkey?
Wait a minute. Is that
I don't.
is that
I
a trivia
understood
question?
it, yeah.
Statement? Yes, Jen. I'm saying yes. Do I get a point?
Yes, you get a point.
Extra credit.
Awesome.
There we go.
What's the name of the fairy in Peter Pan?
Jen.
Oh,
Jen.
Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell's correct. In Dexter's laboratory, what is Dexter's sister's name?
Andrew.
Andrew.
Dee Dee? Dee?
Dee Dee's correct. Nice pull, Andrew.
Oh.
What's the name of the dog in The Cowardly Dog?
The
Or,
what?
excuse me, Courage, the Cowardly Dog.
Jen.
What's the name of the dog in Courage, the Cowardly Dog? Go ahead, Jen.
I'm just gonna guess. Courage.
Courage is correct.
Never heard of that. What is happening?
I'm gonna
Early
throw something.
90s Cartoon Network. Yeah.
Name 3 characters from the original Toy Story.
Jen.
Jen.
Woody, Buzz, and Bullseye.
Bullseye. Good pull. The horse. Woohoo.
Who voices the character Shrek in the movie Shrek?
Frogger.
Jen.
Andrew.
Frogger.
Sheesh. You guys are killing me this morning. That would be Mike Myers.
Mike Myers is correct.
Donkey.
What is Nemo's dad's name in Finding Nemo?
Frogger.
Frogger.
That one's Marlin.
Marlin is correct. In The Incredibles, what are the names of the three kids?
Jen.
Jen.
Oh boy. Violet, Dash, and
Come on. You got
Andrew
it.
on that one.
You got it.
What's that baby's name?
the baby. The baby.
Uh-huh.
The baby.
Uh-huh.
Right. What's the baby's name?
Has two
I don't know.
names.
It has two names.
We're going no point. Who's next?
Well, he
Has
has
the same
one
name.
name. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Jack.
Boom! There we go. We got
Helps you
there.
out a lot.
Do I have to share? I have to share a point with Andrew. He gave me the hint. Two names is what did it for me.
Nice to see the light bulb come off.
It did eventually.
What's the real name of Spider-Man?
Andrew.
Oh,
Andrew.
Peter Parker.
Peter Parker, yes. What's the real name of Superman?
Frogger.
Frogger.
That would be Clark Kent.
Clark Kent is correct. What's the real name of Batman?
Andrew.
Andrew.
Right.
Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne is correct. What's the real name of Mr. Incredible?
Oh.
It's a good one. I don't know.
Oh.
Andrew, is it Phil?
That is not correct. Anybody else? No?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Bob Parr.
Bob Parr. Very good. You know what? And I think we're sleeping on his best buddy, Frozone. Most amazing
Frozone.
superhero name ever.
Frozone. Yeah, that's a good one.
That dude was smooth.
Yeah, he was. Smooth with a V.
In Puss in Boots, who voices Puss?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Antonio Banderas.
It's not mine. It's not mine.
Tony, we are tied 6-6 to 6,
Jeez.
and we've got time for one more question. It's come down to this, ladies and gentlemen.
What is the name of the skunk in Bambi?
Frogger.
Oh, God.
Yes!
Frogger.
Flower.
Flower is correct.
There we go. All right, Big T. There's a little Chihuahua right outside the window. He's adorable. We got to go, Big T. Thanks for swinging by. We'd also like to thank our guest, Desiree Lopez, kindergarten teacher at SCVi Charter School. It's kindergarten roundup time, y'all. Check out SCVi at iLeadSantaClarita.org. Kari McCoy and Elana Strazzulla with the Leap Children's Museum. Google Leap Children's Museum and get tickets to their April Fool's Day event. Producer Sarah, thank you for all your hard work. Engineer Andrew, Engineer Jen, and thank you for listening. And remember, friends, life is hard, but we're all here to help each other along. Be well, do good, and if you graduated Saugus High School in 1990, check us out on Facebook or listen to the show next week for updates on our 35th high school reunion. And join us again next week and every Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. I'm Matt Watson, and this is SCVi and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.